Okay, assignments 3 problems. Okay, here's number 1. You have 3x to the power of 3 minus 12x equals 0. Okay, so there's 3 answers because it's a cubic equation. It's x to the third now. It's not x second, so doing the ABC right away don't do that. Okay, only do that if it's a x to the second. Now, here's one thing I didn't do in the video that I should have. Okay, put the word with. Then what you have x to the third, you also have x, okay, with x. So when you have x to the third with another type of x, you're going to have to factor. So that's 2 terms because you have the x to the third and an x, okay? So 2 terms. Make sure you're equal to 0. And when I'm factoring 2 terms, first I start with the GCF. Then after that I make a second box and I label it difference of perfect squares or dots. Okay, that's when you make just 2 parentheses with a plus and a minus. Okay, so you set those boxes up when there's 2 terms because there's 2. You got x to the third with x. Okay. Okay, 3 and 12. The 3 and 12 are both in the third row. And they both the terms have x, so we take the x that's on the final line. Okay. So then I go up and divide by 3x, knowing that the x's cross out there. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, but x to the third divided by x is not just x, it's x to the second. Okay. Because if I'm dividing x to the third by x, those cancel, but there's 2 x's left over. Minus, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, okay, now see if the second parentheses is a difference of perfect squares. You can get rid of the 1 in front of the x. And they are, because x to the second can be written as x times x, and 4 can be the minus, negatives, a positive times a negative. And then 4 can be rewritten as 2 times 2. Okay. Now that 3x, that GCF, you need to pull that down in front of your 2 parentheses because that's significant now because it has an x with it. Okay. When it's just a 3 without an x, I don't care about it, but now it has an x, so that's worth something then. Okay. You have your F1, F2, F3. So 3x could equal 0, so divide by 3, and that's 0. X plus 2 equals 0. Minus 2, that's negative 2. And then x minus 2 could equal 0, so I add 2, and that's 2. 0, negative 2, and 2 are the 3 solutions. Okay, problem number 2. We have 3x to the power of 3 plus 18x to the power of 2 plus 24x equals 0. This can be different than the top one. There are 3 solutions because of the x to the third with x to the second, comma, x, and we don't count the 0. Okay, so that's 3 terms because we have the x to the third, that's what the answer is based off. We have the x to the second, and we have the x. So now instead of having 2 terms, there's 3 terms. So what do I do differently? Well, I make the GCF box just like I did with the top problem. And then instead of seeing if we have a difference of perfect squares, we're going to make our big table and make our parentheses down there. So 3, 18, and 24, you just look at 3 terms. So on your chart, okay, down there, the chart's down here. 3's there, 18's there, 24's there, so 3. I look at the last line, I also do an x along with 3, okay? So I divide these all by 3x, and I know the x's cancel there. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. X third divided by x is to the second. 18 divided by 3 is 6 with x. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Okay, now the table. Don't label the 3x with an A. The A is here, B, C. It's the second parentheses now. So I take 1 times 8, that's 8 positive, so I'm thinking negative, negative, and I'm adding to plus 6. So 8 divided by 1 is 8, that doesn't work. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, that adds to negative 6, so I have it. I just got to make it positive 6 by changing the signs. Now my a up there is a 1, okay? So I'm allowed to get rid of the 1, and now it's just x to the second, so I can just go xx plus 2 plus 4. And then that GCF's important because it has an x with it, so I need to remember to bring that down. Okay, so F1 is 3x, F2, because I need 3 factors because there's 3 answers I have to find. So 3x could equal 0, so I divide by 3, and that's 0. X plus 2 could equal 0. So I'm minus 2, and that's negative 2. X plus 4 equals 0. Minus 4, and that's negative 4. So those are your answers. 0, negative 2, negative 2. Okay, and then the last one. We have 6x to the power of 3. Minus 4x to the power of 2 minus 16x equals 0. So there are going to be 3 answers because you got x to the third. Do you have x to the second? Yep, so I put with x to the second comma. Do you have x? Yep, with x. And we don't have any constants. Okay, 0 doesn't count. By constants, I mean, is there a number, not including 0, is there a number without an x? No, there's not. Okay, so that's 3 terms. The x third, 1, 2, 3. So again, that's 3 terms you need to factor. So we do it like we did the last problem. We check for our GCF first. Then I make a second box and I do my T table, the ACT table. So 6, 4, and 16. Well, why don't you go look up 4, but 6 isn't there. Okay, so go up to 2, 4 is there, 6 is there, and 16 is there, so I would do 2. And again, I also need to take that x with it. So 2x, cancel the x's there. 6 divided by 2 is 3. X to the third divided by x is x second, minus 2x minus 8. Okay. Now the ABC is in the second parentheses. That right there, we'll bring that down later. But now I take 3 times negative 8, and that's negative 24. So we're thinking a positive times a negative, and we're trying to add to get to negative 2. So 1 and 24 wouldn't be it. 24 divided by 2 is 12. That wouldn't be it. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Wouldn't be it. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Add those, and there we go. Okay. That's negative 2. Now keep your eye peeled for the A. The A up there, unfortunately for us, has a 3. So I can't delete the 3. So I make 2 sets of parentheses as opposed to 1 like I did on the last problem. Then we lead off with the 3. And then I go to my x plus 4, x minus 6. Now divide these down. 3 and 4 is just in the first row, so that'll stay 3x plus 4. 3 and 6 are in the third row, so I divide by 3, and that's 1x minus 2. Now, don't forget that 2x right there. Now that's important now today because that has an x with it. So 2x equals 0, and here we go. F1 from here, and then this was rewritten into the 3x plus 4 for F2 and F3. By the way, if you want to put F1 right there, that's fine. F2 and F3 comes from that. So 2x equals 0, divide by 2, you get 0. 3x plus 4 could equal 0, minus 4, you get negative 4. So negative 4 over 3. And then the last one, 1x minus 2 equals equals 0, so you add your 2, and then you get 2.